These are this afternoon's top stories. Prime Minister Harris congratulates new Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister. Traffic Department wants motorists to look out for school children, and Queen Elizabeth II makes history. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Mid newscast. Today is Wednesday, 9th September 2015. I'm Carla Berridge. Now for a look at the news in detail. St. Kitts and Nevis's Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, has extended warmest congratulations to the Prime Minister-elect of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley. This comes following his People's National Movement (PNM) sweep to power in the general elections on Monday, ending the rule of the People's Partnership of Kamla Prasad Bisesar. In his congratulatory message to Dr. Rowley, Prime Minister Harris says there is a wind of change that is blowing across our region, adding that your victory reflects that change. Prime Minister Harris further expressed confidence that the new government will pursue an agenda designed exclusively to better the life of all the people. He also underscored the bonds of friendship between the two countries and said he looks forward to working with Prime Minister-elect Dr. Rowley in the future. The Traffic Enforcement and Safety Department within the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force is calling on motorists to be alert, particularly as the new academic year began on Monday. Officers within that department patrolled the roads on Monday, reminding motorists that schools had reopened and to be alert. Department Head Inspector Carl Keynes said they used the interaction to remind drivers of the traffic laws with regards to pedestrians. He said motorists were reminded to slow down in school zones and drivers should keep a safe distance from school buses and other vehicles that have stopped in close proximity to pedestrian crossings. He cautioned that drivers should look out for crossing guards in school zones and obey all posted signs within the area. He stressed instructions given by crossing guards must be complied with to ensure the safety of pedestrians. An autism expert whose first visit to St. Kitts was for vacation returned to the Federation last week after forging a partnership with the government through communication with local entrepreneurs. Dr. Cheryl Rosen conducted intense training workshops with teachers of the Cotton Thomas Comprehensive School as well as a few more educators from other schools. She exposed them to techniques used to detect symptoms of autism and how to improve children's social skills and learning experience. When asked about the teacher's reaction to the training, this is what she had to say.
Very receptive, and I have to say that, is a great question because, we're different culturally, and so I thought, when I came that I don't know how I would be received. And they were so excited about what I was bringing them because they really wanted the help. And so at the beginning, I think it was a little, rocky for us until they saw the results and the ideas and the things that I was saying, like, look, I'm here for 3 days, use me.
Dr. Rosen said that teachers seemed eager to practice what they had learned at the sessions.
I gave them resources and I passed out, information. We went over assessment tools, intervention practices, just how to relate to families and children with autism. And I definitely think that it was successful, and they started sparking all these great ideas in their minds of how to continue this, and they're looking forward to more information and for me coming back and working in specifics with some individuals who are very interested in autism.
Dr. Cheryl Rosen is a close friend of the owners of Marshall's Restaurant. She credits them for the new partnership she has forged in St. Kitts. In news from across the region, more than 30 men from the St. Croix community were on site on Tuesday to greet public high school students. It was an idea that Senator Kurt Viale shared with other men as a way to inspire and encourage students, particularly young men. News 2's Erica Parsons reports.
The first faces that high schoolers from St. Croix Central High and Educational Complex saw Tuesday as they entered the school gates were those of men from the community.
It was clear that the impact we had this morning as the young men saw so many men, adult men there greeting them. You could see some of them shifted.
It was an idea birthed by Senator Kurt Viale, important especially for the first day of school.
I wanted to be able to portray to the students coming to school, especially the high schoolers, that there's still a lot of positive black men in the community, and that there's something for them to emulate, there's something for them to want to seek, to want to strive. And with all the recent violence and everything that's been going on in the community, I think it's very, very important when they're coming on the first day to see that there is a male community out here that cares about their education.
The welcoming committee included more than 30 professional men. They represented law enforcement, military men, firefighters, lawmakers, Senate staffers, men from the private and public sector, and men from local churches.
I just think it's very important that the young men and young ladies see men of the community and from various sectors and walks of life just come to give them give the blessing and the congratulations and tell them to have a great year.
Police Commissioner Delroy Richards was one of Central High's first graduates, and it was important for him to be there.
I think it's important. I think we have to do what we have to do to try to save the young men in this community, and even the females also. We sort of give them some encouragement to do well. Because we all have to be involved, we all have to play our part.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
In St. Lucia, Alfred Alcide, who hopes to represent the United Workers' Party, has come out in defense of political leader Alan Chastany. Chastany has recently received severe criticism for what some say is his questionable leadership skills and inability to unite the party. More in this DBS News report.
Political hopeful Alfred Alcide is adamant that the UWP is united more than ever. His assertion comes in the wake of criticism that the main opposition is divided. In recent weeks, many persons, including members of the UWP, have accused the political party of being detached. However, Alcide has rebuffed those arguments, praising Alan Chastany for helping to strengthen the ability of the UWP.
If you just examine it very well, the people who accuse Mr. Chastany of creating division, these are the people who are not within the forum of the party. They are not in the core of the party. Mr. Frederick, Mr. Mondesi, Busquet, they are the ones who constantly go on television and telling people that there is so much division in the UWP. There is no division in the UWP. The core members of the UWP, those who have been selected to run the seat, including the prospective candidates, like myself, there is a unity. All the noise about the division and Alan Chastany creating this, these are mischief created by what I call disgruntled politicians. And I mentioned their names a while ago, and I'm making no bones about that.
Alcide will be contesting the UWP Soufrière Forcé-Jacques seat on Sunday during the UWP Soufrière constituency branch elections. He is confident that he has what it takes to defeat incumbent constituency representative Harold Also.
At the moment, you can go around Soufrière and ask anybody in Soufrière what has been done in Soufrière since Mr. Dalson and the government is in office. We have had works done in Soufrière, but a selected few. I'm not going to mention names in this occasion. 3 or 4 individuals, every contract that comes to Soufrière is one or the other. And obviously, we have the foundation in the midst of that. The foundation discriminating against people, firing people left, right, and center. This is something that never happened in the foundation before.
Alcide says he is the most qualified candidate to represent Soufrière and highlighted the number of years he has served the community as a school teacher.
If the delegates really want to win that seat for AWP, bearing in mind SLP has been there for 4 terms. 4 terms. The last time an SLP candidate won the seat in Soufrière was Mr. Edward Innocent. He's deceased, right? Walter François for 2 terms, Mr. Dalso for 2 terms. So 4 terms, the UWP has not won Soufrière at all. This is our chance. It's there for the taking. And I'm telling the people of Soufrière, I'm telling the delegates, if they elect me, I'm going to bring the bacon home for AWP.
Alfred Alcide is a lawyer and also lectures at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College.
Internationally, Queen Elizabeth II reached a major milestone today, Wednesday, becoming the longest reigning monarch in Britain's history by passing Queen Victoria, who served 63 years and 7 months. Here's more.
Queen Elizabeth makes history today by becoming Britain's longest reigning monarch. Elizabeth, who is 89, is also the nation's oldest ever monarch, surpassing her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria's time on the throne. To celebrate, the Queen will take a journey on a steam train in Scotland. Kensington Palace in London has opened a new display to mark the occasion. The images compare the two monarchs in the early years of their reigns.
I think in lots of ways the biggest similarity between both women and their reigns is that they have both been incredible sources and forces of stability during periods of intense and incredible unprecedented change.
Both Elizabeth and Victoria's weddings feature in the display, which also includes private moments. Their mutual love of animals is also explored. The display is open to the general public in London.
Federal investigators are meeting in Las Vegas to try to determine why the engine of a British Airways 777 caught fire before takeoff on Tuesday. Everyone on board evacuated. More than a dozen people were treated for minor injuries.
Investigators are converging on Las Vegas to try to figure out why a British Airways jet engine caught on fire. Flight 2276 was on the McCarran Airport runway on Tuesday afternoon when huge clouds of smoke suddenly began billowing into the sky.
The aircraft, a Boeing 777-200, experienced a fire in its left side engine as it was preparing to take off. The pilots quickly aborted the takeoff.
It sounded like a tyre originally, but then the brakes obviously went on and we were like an emergency stop effectively.
And then all of a sudden you heard a boom, and it shook the plane, and it was like, I thought it was a tire blowing out, and then you heard another one, then the plane it stopped.
Shortly afterwards, emergency chutes deployed, and 157 passengers and 13 crew members began sliding out of the plane.
All you could see was smoke, and then all you could see was ash. And then if you looked out the other window, all you could see was fire.
People went to the back, they'd opened the door, the slides went down, smoke started coming in, and there was just a look of panic on the air stewardess's face.
I'd say 80% of people took their bags, which wasn't great. No, I didn't.
Firefighters arrived on the scene and put out the fire within minutes.
Clark County Fire Department responders from McCarran International Airport Station 13 were notified of a potential engine fire at 413. By 4:18, the fire had been extinguished.
Officials say more than a dozen people were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The plane was supposed to fly to London's Gatwick Airport.
I'll take a couple of days, and then I'll fly out.
Fire officials say the cause of the fire is unclear, but it doesn't appear that the blaze breached the plane's cabin. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
In the weather today. Today's temperature is expected to peak at 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Generally, we can expect partly sunny skies with periods of brief passing showers, becoming fair to partly cloudy tonight with only a light passing shower. Winds are from the east at 12 to 18 miles per hour with lighter spells overnight. Seas are slight to moderate with swells not exceeding 4 feet. Despite the presence of a vigorous tropical wave, which will mostly affect the southern Caribbean, elsewhere skies will be fair to partly cloudy in general with periods of passing showers. Sunset this evening will be around 6:40 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:53 a.m. The weather brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Barrett.